Okay. It's 4:03 my time and here in Spokane. I know we've got folks joining from around the world in different time zones. Thank you for coming to the screen to watch the presentation about high school completion program. I will go ahead and just slowly get started in case we have a few more folks jumping on the call. Just to be quick, we all now are very familiar with Zoom. Thank you for muting your microphone, and any questions or comments, if you put them in the Q&A box, that's perfect for me. This presentation won't be too long. I know that we're all busy and we all have Zoom fatigue, so I'll do my best to keep it very informative, and short. While we also just give a little more time for participants, just to give you a little nugget of information, you may already know that the community colleges in Washington State are the only colleges in the whole USA that offer a high school completion program. So our state is the only one that has this opportunity for students. Therefore, it makes our state very appealing to students who want to accelerate their education. They can come to us, finish high school at the same time they're doing college. So nowhere else will you find this kind of programming. We're very pleased to be unique like that. So, all right, well, let's just go ahead and get started. Thank you for joining. My name is Trina. I know that my screen says Catherine Thompson. She's my colleague and admissions marketing partner. So she organized the webinar and I am your presenter. I know I could change the name, but alas, I did not. So you have me. What we're going to talk about today is just a very brief overview of community colleges of Spokane. Also, a brief introduction to Spokane as a city. We'll also then cover the transfer pathway opportunity and our partners, our university partners, where students transfer on to. Some details about that. We'll look at programming. We'll talk about the honors program that we offer here. And then we'll jump right into what you really want to know is all about high school completion program. Then we'll talk about housing and wrap it up with how to apply and your questions. I think at the end, I also do have some COVID updates for you as well. So there we have it. Let's get rolling. So here we are. Washington State is in the northwest part of the USA. Maybe you're already familiar. We are lucky to be in a beautiful part of the US. We have a pretty mellow weather pattern. We don't get stuck with hurricanes or tornadoes or horrible winter blizzards, snowstorms. We have 4 seasons and pretty beautiful weather. Right now, it's a gorgeous sunny early spring day for us here. So this is where you'll be studying. You can see the star is the east side of the state, which is where Spokane is located. The west side of the state, over by the ocean, is where Seattle is located. You might be familiar with the city of Seattle. That is the capital of Washington State. And we are the second largest city in Washington State. So we're considered the baby sister of Seattle, which is the largest city. Okay, we do believe that Spokane is an ideal learning environment, truly, truly. There's so many reasons why. I've captured just a few here for you. For one thing, the cost of living is so much lower in this part of the USA than other places such as New York or California, where just the cost of living is so high. And then on top of that, you're thinking about tuition fees. It's almost impossible. So our part of the world is still very affordable. We are a medium-sized city. So we have about 800,000 people only. So we're considered small to medium city, which then of course makes it less stressful, less harried, more of a pleasant place to live. We are voted in the top 10 best riverfront cities. So you can see here that there's a large river that cuts right through the middle of Spokane. It's the Spokane River, and it's very beautiful. There's a big park in the downtown there on the river. So this becomes a really big part of students' life is being at the park and enjoying what the river has to offer in our beautiful city. And just quickly also, our industries are aerospace. As you know, we've got a great healthcare industry here, and along the whole West Coast, California and Washington are big IT hubs. So for those students who are interested in programming, computers, and IT, we got you covered. And of course, my favorite is that we have an airport literally just 15 minutes outside of the city center. So we have our own airport. You don't have to drive an hour to get to the big airport hub. It's right in our backyard. So that's pretty special. Here's a closer look at some top industries that I'm sure you're familiar with. Amazon, Microsoft, Boeing, all of these industries are located in Washington State. And of course, the famous Starbucks coffee was also born in Washington State. So these are opportunities for students to have internships, to do their OPT, and just, have a really great study work experience in some top industries. Here's another view of Spokane. Again, you can see the river, and we're just a very outdoor kind of a city because of our lovely weather. And another fun statistic that I love is that we have been voted in the top 30 best small cities in America. So this translates to me as just, again, a comfortable and affordable and safe place to live. Also very friendly. The people are easygoing, not stressed out from a busy city life. It's just a lovely place to live and study for sure. We do have 2 campus locations in Spokane. So this can be a little confusing sometimes because we have a Community Colleges of Spokane, which is the umbrella name. And those 2 community colleges are Spokane Falls and Spokane Community College campus. So the only difference really is the programs offered at each of these campuses. So for example, if a student wants to study IT, their campus would be Spokane Falls. If they're studying culinary arts or hospitality, their campus would be Spokane Community College. And certainly we take all of the stress out of that. We can help you decide which campus is the best fit. Again, our 4 seasons are super delightful. You can see here the summers can get pretty hot, and the winters, yes, it gets cold. And we do have snow. We just don't have too much snow. And in between is a beautiful fall, autumn season, and of course, springtime. So students do get to really experience the activities that come along with great weather patterns. One thing to note too is that we're very dry in this area. So there's no humidity, which makes a big difference in how the heat or the cold feels to the body. A dry heat here, but great weather. All right, now we're getting closer to the good stuff. All of these photos show pictures of our students. These are actual students at our colleges doing fun things, engaging in games and hanging out with friends. The bottom picture, that planetarium is on our Spokane Falls campus. We have a real full-size planetarium, and there's light shows and star shows. It's also used for the science classes. So students can do volunteering activities. They can get involved in clubs, all kinds of things going on all the time. Students do create their own experience for sure. So here we go. Why a community college? Quickly, there are 2 things that bubble up to the surface, and those are support and affordability. So the main reason why most international students and domestic students, American students, choose a community college is because the tuition is lower than a university tuition. It will always be that way. It doesn't have anything to do with quality. Rather, it has to do with the state-funded schools. The tuition is very affordable and allows students to start their academic plans at the community college, transfer onto a university, still graduate from the university they love, and you earn 2 degrees, the associate degree with us and a bachelor degree with the university. Also, the extra support here is real. We give a lot of support, wraparound support to our international students. So it's a lot easier to become comfortable and to be successful when you're on a community college campus with an advisor that knows your name, with an instructor that notices when you don't show up to class, and that cares about your success. So the daily life and the daily class life is really quality here, with a lot of support and resources for success. Okay, here's a little more of the nitty gritty. The dollar is the most important thing, it seems. You can see just the cost difference if students decide to go directly to a 4-year school versus 2 years at a community college plus 2 years at a university. You save a lot of money to do that, and you still end up with the same degree. So it's really a top choice for so many students. And excuse me, we also do have scholarships available to our students, so we can really take care of the students' needs when they arise. Transferring. So after a student completes 2 years of study here, they'll grab their associate degree, and before they graduate, they are planning where they want to transfer. They're planning what universities they want to apply for. Do they want to go somewhere else? Do they want to stay in Washington State? Which university has their program? Which university is a top quality? A lot of things to consider. So we do help students always with their transfer planning. Last year was a spring quarter that we probably would like to forget, spring 2020. Not a very fun time, but 78% of our students, international students, graduated and transferred to top universities. These names are top, and that's a lot of our students going to this caliber of university. It doesn't mean that you have to, and that doesn't have to be your plan, but what it does tell you is that it really speaks to the quality of our education, the quality of the student success and the student happiness for them to be able to apply and be seen by some of these universities. Just as a side note too, universities definitely look at your GPA, but they also look at who you are as a student. Do you have activities? Have you participated in curricular volunteering? And how well-rounded are you? Have you participated in clubs or student government? So all of those things also make you a really good candidate for one of these universities. It's not all about the GPA. We used to have an ESL program. We had an intensive English language program here. Unfortunately, we did have to close the doors due to just low demand for an ESL program here in Spokane. So now, instead of a full program, we offer a TOEFL Prep online class. This says 8 weeks, but it's actually a 6-week course that is online, but has interactive live Zoom sessions with the instructor. And it's an official TOEFL-based course. So students are learning how to prepare for the TOEFL, but they're also learning how to enhance their language, writing, reading, and listening skills, as well as how to do the test and succeed in the test. So as it says here, in this course, students are going to get 2 TOEFL tests. That's part of the fee. And the final TOEFL test in the course, we accept as English proficiency. So that's a really great thing. You don't have to take the class and then go out and sign up for an official TOEFL. It's all done right here in this 6-week course. So we do offer this in, typically we try to offer one in the winter, and now we're getting ready to offer one in the early summer, June, that's prepares students before they jump into fall quarter for their studies. If you're interested, definitely let us know and we can put you on the list. Programs, we have them. We have so many programs, it's hard to count. So instead of listing them, I liked to bundle them into the type of programming offered. We have pretty much anything a student would want to pursue. And we also are able to help students decide if they're unsure. So we do have everything from fine arts to nursing, to business, social sciences, and of course, we have all the STEM programs. All of these programs are available to high school completion students as well. So there's no limit to the programming. We also have an honors program. This is a particularly special program in that we have a different admissions qualification for an honors student. So we do look for a higher TOEFL score, a higher GPA. We also ask an applicant to submit recommendation letters, and there will be an essay to be selected for the honors course. This program is also indicated on the student transcript that they had honors classes. And the classrooms are organized a bit differently than a traditional class. So there's more of a debate discussion style. There's specific honors courses. And then at the end of the honors track, there's a capstone course that's similar to a university capstone, like a final thesis report. So it's a rigorous program, but it's also really good for students who want to stand out and enter those top tier universities. Here it is. Here's what you want to hear about, is our high school completion program. We're going to talk through all of the details, and hopefully we can answer some great questions toward the end of this session too. So as you know, students will enroll at the college, but they can also be earning their high school diploma. It's a Washington State high school diploma at the very same time they're doing their college classes. So for some students, this will save a lot of time. And of course, it will save money if you, depending on, your high school and where you're attending. So for qualification for high school completion, students need to be 16 years old by the time their classes begin. So what that means is we could still have an applicant who's 15 years old, but that has a birthday just before classes start. That's acceptable. We also like the students to have a GPA of 3.0 in the high school years that they have completed, which means we would like them to have completed 9th and 10th grade or the equivalent in your home country. So between the 9th and 10th grade, we do look for a GPA that's hovers around 3.0. This is because it helps us get an idea of the student's motivation and ability to be somewhat responsible. If they have good grades, then it tells us that they are more ready for a study abroad experience at a young age. Students are required to live with an American host family when they're under 18. So we help them with the homestay process for sure. We have a high school completion program on our campus that's for domestic students, so for American students, not just for international students. So this program is called Running Start. So the international high school students will be hanging around with American high school students, not just older college students. So they will find comfort in peers and interacting with students their own age, getting involved with clubs that are high school centric. So they won't feel alone or too young. There's a lot of age groups on our campuses. And then I also mentioned that the high school completion students get very special advising support. So typically we have a success coach that students are required to check in with daily, just to make sure they're showing up and that they're going to class and that they're happy and everything is going well for them. Since they are not yet adults, we do have more oversight on these high school students. A little bit more about our homestay. Our homestay program is our own. We don't contract with an agency, a third-party agency. It's a homegrown, home-built homestay program. These families are given to us by word of mouth, by referral. They're our families. We visit their homes. We do background checks to make sure that they're a safe family in a safe neighborhood. We make sure that these homes are near a city bus stop. All of the things that are important to a student who wants to be successful. We make sure that the families are supportive. We also train our families regularly on cultural differences, things like, COVID updates, how to manage those types of things. So we're always, keeping our homestay families current based on our different student populations, good things to know about students from around the world. For a minor student, for a student under the age of 18, the host family fee is $850 USD per month. And this includes all of their meals, which can be a lot because young students eat a lot, as we know. It always includes free Wi-Fi, of course, and then all students get their own bedroom and private space. So, and most of the time, since the students are younger, the host family will drive them to campus or take them to the mall or, help to escort them around town since they're younger. Probably also the families will have rules for a student who's younger. So you have to be home by a certain time. Maybe you have to check in different times. So the student is always required to follow the family rules, just like it would be at their home in their home country. So our host families are amazing. They do a great job with their hosting, and they all have international hearts. Some program details, just quick to make sure that I've covered the gamut for you. The application is online, and it's a very quick process. The application to high school completion is the same as the application to a regular program. There's an application online that has a link, and every application that's submitted comes right to me. So I will see the application. The rest of the requirements include passport copy, financial support documents, English proficiency, if applicable, and the 2 years of high school, the 9th or 10th or 11th, depending, those transcripts translated in English. And that's it. We don't need much more than that at all to process the admission. I mentioned about the credits. So for example, in case it's still unclear, students don't take special high school classes. For example, English 101 counts for credit for both, like the dual credit system. So they'll get credit for high school English and credit for college English from that one class. This is how we can offer the program in just 2 years without it being an extended length of time. The tuition fee is the same as any other academic program, so there's also no difference in the cost for the programs. I also mentioned that there's many program options back when we looked at the different business, marketing, culinary arts type of programs. They're all available to students who want to do the high school completion. And English proficiency and the advising, we also did talk about it in detail. So they get a lot of good oversight, but we do require the English proficiency component before they start their academic studies. And then the final bullet point means that in order to request and obtain the high school completion diploma or the high school diploma, students have to complete the full 2 years of the AA degree. So they can't do just 1 year. They can't transfer out to another school. They have to stay for that full 2-year program in order to be eligible for both the diploma and the degree. Here is a closer look at our fee structure. So as you can see, tuition and fees is just under 10,000 USD per year. This is again for high school completion and for all other programs. We estimate living expenses for 1 year to be around 6,300. Other costs include things like books, transportation, health insurance, personal spending money, those kinds of things. So the total estimated cost for 1 year of living and studying here in Spokane is 18,500 USD. Again, this is an estimate. So depending on the lifestyle, it could be more, it could be less. But this is also the amount that the embassy will verify when the student goes to obtain the F1 visa. So we also require this amount in order to earn admission to the college. I can tell I'm nearing the end of my slides. So here we are. Let's talk a little bit about COVID, give you some updates as we are now. And things change so rapidly, I know. So right now in Washington State, we are looking more positive. We are in what's considered phase 3. Businesses are open. They are open at a lower capacity, but fully functioning, from hair salons to restaurants to grocery stores. Everything is rolling. So our campuses are also open. Classes are offered on ground and online. So there's options for both students, whatever makes them comfortable. For our students that are enrolled online, we also have tutoring that they can access online. So we really do make it easy for them. There's math tutoring, English, sciences that you just jump on the computer, connect with a tutor, and hopefully get your questions answered. And this is, of course, is free to students. Also, student support is, again, fully online. Students are told how and where to find their academic advisors. They schedule Zoom meetings, they'll send them an email. So we are very present. We're just not in person as much as we used to be, but students are getting used to that online life and the Zoom life. I know that we're hoping for more of a on-ground full campus experience in the fall quarter. But for now, students are still finding their way without delaying their studies. Our team here in Global Ed, our international students have all of our cell phones. They have our emails, of course, and can contact us at any time. They know how to do that. So we are very connected with the students. We check in with them. They check in with us. Especially if we don't hear from them, we will call. So even if we don't see them on Zoom or email, we usually will do WhatsApp texting or WeChat or something to stay in touch. And even our international student health insurance is also super accessible online. There's a help phone call. It's called the My Nurse 24/7. And it's basically a free phone call to speak to a nurse about any health issues you might have. And there's over 200 language options. So it's easy for the student to speak in their own language when there's a concern. Sometimes it's easier to express yourself when you're not having to speak in a second language. So it's a really great opportunity for students to check on things if they need through their health insurance. For the on-ground students that we have on campus is business as usual now. It's the new business as usual where masks are required all over campus, outdoors and indoors, in class, everywhere. And social distancing for sure, which that means that classrooms are spaced out to have the social distancing. So there are fewer students in each class now to accommodate for that social distancing. Still, there's no large meetings or large groups allowed on campus. So club meetings have to be organized in a fashion where there's a fewer students that meet, or the club meetings are still an online format. Same with staff meetings. We really make sure that we pay attention to that space all throughout the school. And then of course, enhanced cleaning measures. We have our custodial staff going around and, cleaning doorknobs and desks and, everything all the time is wiped up with sanitizing wipes. So I know from being on campus that it's got to be one of the safer places to be, because I see the cleaning measures all the time. So it's a good thing. Right now, our SCC campus is fully on ground. All of our programs are offered on ground, and students are walking around campus now as we speak, because the programs offered at this campus location have requirement for in-person contact, such as labs, and other programs that require that hands-on practical training piece. Our Spokane Falls campus is currently offering more classes online, but both hope to have full operational on ground by the fall. And again, we can always help you with which campus is the best fit too. There we have it. This is my last slide. We've come to the end of the presentation, and all of these faces, I love seeing these faces. They're all students that have gone on to transfer, finished their programs here at CCS, but look at those faces. Well, I hope that I've shared information that's helped you understand more about our high school completion program. If there are any questions, I don't see any yet, please put them in the Q&A. If you don't have any questions, thank you for joining. You know how to find Catherine and I. You can always send us an email if you think of something later, or if we didn't cover a point that you wanted to hear more about. I appreciate your attendance, and we will share the recording with you and hope to see you online at a future info session for CCS. Take care.